Hi there, Brianne here.
Hi all, my name is Dani.
Hi everyone, my name is Kristen.
Hi everyone, my name is Lara.
Question number 1. Name a famous woman in STEM.
A famous woman in STEM is Emily Calandrelli, or the Space Gal on social media.
For me, it would be Ellen Ochoa.
Famous woman in STEM who is steadily growing her own platform and encouraging others is Raven the Science Maven.
Immediately, I automatically think of Loni Love. She is one of my favorite comedians. She's very open and honest while being a co-host on The Real. Question number 2. How does she inspire me?
So I appreciate how she stays true to herself and the fact that she shows that science communication can be fun and enjoyable. Whereas I think some focus can be placed on numbers as far as how many publications can you put out, what reach do you get through that. She also shows that, content related to science communication doesn't have to be black and white. It doesn't have to be something that is serious all the time. And what I enjoy about that is how she encourages others to raise their own voices and participate in science communication in their own way. And so I really enjoy the content that she puts out.
The reason why she inspired me is because she was the first Hispanic woman to go to space. She was an engineer, a former astronaut, and she spent 9 days in space on a mission with the space shuttle.
Emily has inspired me as seeing her post about space and explaining science-related topics in an easily digestible and entertaining way. I was inspired to start sharing more about my personal STEM journey on social media. She has inspired thousands through hosting Emily's Wonder Lab on Netflix and through her book series, The Ada Lace Adventures. Before Emily's Wonder Lab came into existence, she had been pitching show ideas to TV networks and was unsuccessful. She was even given the feedback by large science networks that the majority of our audience is male, so we don't know if they'd relate to a female host. Despite hearing this, she persevered and Netflix picked it up and Emily's Wonder Lab came into existence. One of my favorite parts? How timing worked out, Emily ended up filming the entire thing 9 months pregnant. Emily shows us a strong female scientist in a rewarding career, teaching kids how fun STEM is, while also showing them that motherhood can go hand in hand with your career dreams to a worldwide audience.
Loni Love is such a huge inspiration simply by being her full self. She is a whole lot of woman, she has a lot of big personality, and she owns the fact that she's not only smart enough to be an electrical engineer, but also funny enough and talented enough to still pursue her arts as a comedian. I myself grew up singing on stage, and learning to try to embody both the left and right brain always felt like a competition. It had to be one or the other, when in reality we can be our creative side, we can be the tactical, nerdy researcher side as well, and we don't have to limit ourselves as women, as individuals, even as humans. Like, we're complex creatures. Question number 3. Who is your mentor?
So I have many mentors and many people that I've been able to have good conversations with over the years. But one mentor that I do have is Clark Rucker. He is the director and senior manager of Phantom Works at Boeing.
I have multiple ones, and I would recommend having multiple mentors because you're gonna need a lot of people's perspectives to help you guide and define the type of career and lifestyle that you want to go into. Especially, I'm an early professional. I have been in the industry for 2 years now, and I'm still considered an early professional, and there's a lot that I have to learn.
I have many mentors, but one of which who stands out is my coworker, Jessie.
So my first and foremost is my mom. Growing up with someone who had such a just wonderful experience and limitless life was absolutely just wonderful and mind-boggling. So I was inspired every day to live life to the fullest. Honestly, she grew up being a pitcher of an all-boys baseball team of a league, right? There weren't really any other girls playing, and not that she was just playing baseball, but she was the pitcher. So she was like the go-to, the main person involved in every play. She grew up being a tomboy, getting her hands dirty, and was very mechanically inclined. So by the time she was in high school, she was welding barbecue pits and putting things together. So she naturally found her way into the STEM fields without even actually pursuing a degree, because at the time most women were not encouraged to go into STEM. And second was my professional first mentor ever, Cheryl. She loved bright colors. She would wear bows in her hair and had all kinds of fun office supplies, whether it be big colorful pens, rainbow notebooks she would take to meetings, and she just had this big personality while also being really a great engineer. Question number 4. What's the most important thing that they taught me?
One thing that Clark taught me and many other students is that when opportunity knocks, open the door. And what that means is that, we often don't know what forms of opportunity come our way, and we don't necessarily know what the outcomes of those opportunities are, but it's important to take advantage of the moment when they do present themselves, because you never know where they could lead. So instead of being stuck in fear and hesitation, it's important to just take a chance on yourself and to be confident in your own abilities, and knowing that regardless of what opportunities present themselves, you're capable of succeeding.
In terms of what they have taught me, I would say patience has been the biggest thing. As a recent grad, I think we're sometimes a little lost and confused in which direction we want to take, and at the end of the day, it's going to take time to figure that out. It's going to take practice and experience, and you have to learn to be patient, because you will figure it out. The reason why I have multiple mentors is because some of them are my coworkers, some of them are in different teams, and I have some mentors that are in a different industry. Personally, I'm in the aerospace industry, but I also have other mentors that are in different types of companies, different points of their career, and everyone has been able to give me different perspectives, and that's the way I've been able to build my decisions and see what is fitting for my career and the lifestyle that I want to live.
One of the most important things that he has taught me is don't be afraid to ask questions. Especially as a young engineer, you aren't expected to know everything. So make sure you speak up when you're given a task and you're not sure how to proceed. Your team is there to help you learn and gain the critical technical skills for you to thrive in your field. This lesson can also be attributed to those who are thinking about studying STEM as a career. If you see someone who has a career or is just doing something that sounds awesome to you, don't be afraid to reach out and say something like, "I love what you're doing. Can we chat for 5 minutes? I want to ask you some questions to see if I want to go into that field."
I'll be completely honest and say, being raised by my mom, one phrase she always said that would stay with me is everything in life is a choice. I'm very grateful that I had these two mentors, both my mom and Cheryl, that actually taught me, in the world of life, there's literally always a game happening. I'm very big on sports, so I'll use a sports analogy, but any type of different sports you have, there are rules. There's a field you have to step on. You have to have some type of tools or training or skill set to be successful. And in particular, when it comes to sports, you have that opportunity to really choose what sports you want to focus on. So being a woman in STEM tends to be that you're one of the few. So again, whether you're looking at a pitcher or a quarterback, someone who's making the shots, we have the opportunity to call the shots on what we will or will not bend to, what we will or will not allow ourselves to be put up with or to listen to. And so we have control up to what the situations are that we allow ourselves to go into, whether it be the rooms, the meetings, the way that we're treated. And so understanding the rules of the game is step 1. And then 2, making those own judgment calls as to what's best for you. Question number 5. How do I think we can make people aware of women's contributions in STEM?
I think one way we can raise awareness of women's contributions to STEM is to continue having conversations similar to this one, where we invite women into spaces so that they can share their experiences and use those experiences to encourage and uplift others. Not only that, but I think creating more connections with women in STEM and growing a network of, women that are willing to open up and share their experiences. I think opening the space for women to contribute is the most important thing that we can do to amplify their voices.
There needs to be more events that highlight the work that women do. There's plenty of conferences for engineers, but I think there needs to be an area or maybe more conferences and networking events that highlight women's work. Maybe not just an opportunity to network and build a community, but it gives them the opportunity to also showcase the work that they have been able to accomplish and learn from other women as well. And this doesn't have to be like women-only events. I think it will definitely help in situations, organizations, events where there's a diverse audience and everyone can come together to highlight and empower women who are minorities in the STEM industry. Another thing I like to take part in is supporting smaller groups, smaller organizations. I work with Engineering Gals, and their main focus is to highlight and support women in STEM. I started a podcast with one of the founders, Amy, my co-host Amy, and our job, our first season, was to highlight the voices and the stories and the journeys of women in STEM and how they have contributed to their industry, the type of career path that they're following. We're doing a focus on professional development and supporting little efforts like that, and everyone coming together to support those efforts will definitely be very helpful to creating and raising that awareness.
I think we can make more people aware of women's contributions in STEM through education and STEM outreach. Rosie Riveters is a great example in this field, as they provide a fun space for girls ages 14 to 4 to imagine, create, and play while developing their skills in STEM. For anyone watching this that's a STEM professional, I highly recommend that you get involved in STEM outreach in your local community to inspire the next generation of STEM professionals.
Collectively, we need to accept, learn to be more understanding, empathetic of one another, and stop being so judgy. We have a great opportunity to be able to learn from one another, for women to be able to advocate for the work that they're doing, to ask questions, to be curious about the new innovations that are happening, technology or new ways of thinking that they'd like to be involved in. And we should encourage that. We should ask more questions. We should be curious, and to be able to support one another is absolutely crucial. So whether or not a woman is the only person in the room making those decisions, or collectively on a team and her ideas and contributions are acknowledged, we all have to be there to support each other, to raise one another up, and to celebrate each other as well. We tend to forget or feel like we're bragging. We're told that we need to be modest and not really tell people all the great things that we're doing, and yet that's a huge opportunity missed for us to be able to learn from one another, to share best practices, lessons learned, and to grow from the learnings and understandings of other people. And last but certainly not least, we have the capability of being able to promote and celebrate and acknowledge the own women in STEM in our lives that we know. Give them a pat on the back, tell them congratulations, ask them about what they're doing, how they're doing it, asking more questions about the things that they love or the work that they're doing. Feel free to promote and celebrate. Look up more women in STEM, promote it, let other people know about all the amazing contributions we're making. We're in this together.
Bye.
Bye, and happy National Engineers Week!